Hi everyone, and welcome to day 30 of the 30 days to the roots of yoga. So today I'm going to be taking you through a few book recommendations that I would suggest you read for a beginner or as a beginner. And these are honestly some of my favourite yoga books that I've read, all by Indian authors. And they've really helped me to understand the tradition of yoga in the most authentic way, but they're also really digestible and accessible texts that you can learn from too. So the first text that I'm going to suggest, and this is recommended reading for anyone on their journey, so even if you're not a beginner, is the Bhagavad Gita, and this translation is by Eknath Easwaran, and it's one of my favourite translations. So I've actually read quite a few translations of the Bhagavad Gita, and the way that the author breaks down each of the chapters, verses and concepts of the Bhagavad Gita is in a way that makes it so easy for us to understand. Prior to each chapter, there's an explanation of what to expect in that chapter and insights into the story between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. The Gita also provides us with the four margas, or the four paths of yoga, which are Karma Yoga, which is the path of duty and service, Bhakti Yoga, which is the path of devotion, Raja Yoga, which is the path of self-realization, and finally Jnana Yoga, which is the path of knowledge and wisdom. The Bhagavad Gita is a guide to yogic living and is also a key part of a great epic called the Mahabharata. So it's a song or a hymn that contains 700 verses, and that's also a conversation between Lord Krishna and his charioteer Arjuna. Now, depending on what translation of the Bhagavad Gita you pick up, you're going to either find it really easy to understand or really difficult to comprehend, because just by reading a version of the Bhagavad Gita, you might not always understand how this wisdom translates into everyday life. But I feel like Eknath Easwaran has done a really good job of bringing simplicity into these teachings, which also show us how we can implement them into our everyday lives. And it goes without saying that the Bhagavad Gita is one of the scriptures that is at the core of yoga in its most traditional form, and it should be studied by any seeker on this path. The next book that I'm going to recommend is Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and this version is by Swami Vivekananda. And again, I've read other versions of this text, but this one I found the most easiest to understand, and therefore I'm recommending it to you as a beginner. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is another key yogic text, and each of the sutras or threads in this text provide us with the most basic and fundamental aspects of an authentic yoga practice. It's organized into four parts, so the first part being Samadhi Pada, the second one being Sadhana Pada, the third being Vibhuti Pada, and the last one being Kaivalya Pada. And the term pada just translates to part or chapter. This is a text that's usually introduced to beginners on their yoga teacher trainings, but for us to understand it in the most simplest way, the purpose of this text is for us to take a sutra and apply it to our lives. So it's not really meant to be read as a text front to back. It's one that we can pick up and just choose a sutra, try to understand that sutra, and then apply it to our daily lives. This version of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras isn't just a simple translation of all the verses, but each pada or part and each sutra is dissected in such an intricate but simplistic way. And just in case none of you are aware of this, the author of this text is Swami Vivekananda, who is one of our great gurus, who's also responsible for bringing yoga to the Western world. And all of his teachings are filled with so much wisdom that we could all benefit from. So it's also worth looking into his other books and teachings too. The third book that I'm going to recommend is my own. So A Beginner's Guide to the Roots of Yoga. And today's a really special day because it's the 1 year anniversary of this book being published. And this actually took me such a long time to write, and it's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my entire life, because although I've been practicing and teaching yoga for such a long time, over 10 years now, it feels like I'm still very much a beginner on this journey and always a forever student as well. So although this is a beginner's guide, I learned quite a lot by writing this book, and this is honestly the book that I wish that I had before I started my yoga journey. The aim and the purpose of me writing this book when I was asked to was to bring something to the world that I couldn't find when I started my journey, and that's having everything in one place that I would have wanted to know as a beginner. But funnily enough, that was actually the hardest part of my writing journey. So being able to break down the concepts of the tradition of yoga in a, again, accessible and digestible way was actually the hardest part of writing this book. And I do explain this in the book as well. But when we are on the path of yoga, the journey is never ending in the way, and we could be learning this tradition for lifetimes. And the more answers that you seek from this practice, the more questions that you'll have. But you can see this book as a foundational guide to your yoga practice, and it's broken down into 4 parts. So the first part being a really important discussion on why we should aim for an authentic yoga practice, where we talk about the cultural appropriation in yoga, how representation matters in these spaces, the lack of diversity in modern yoga, and also the emphasis on physical postures in modern day. The second part takes us through the foundations and a really brief history of the practice. So this is where I name the 3 significant texts of yoga, 2 of which we've already discussed, 5 of the great gurus of yoga, and again one of them is Swami Vivekananda, a discussion on the roots of yoga and its true meaning, and also a brief timeline of the history of yoga. And through the third part, which is the longest part of the book, I teach you how to integrate the practices and everything that you've learnt so far into your own practice. So I've broken this down into the 8 limbs of yoga. And in this part, we also talk about traditional styles of yoga, the types and styles of yoga, the 4 key margas or 4 key yogic paths. And that's according to the Bhagavad Gita. There's also a whole chapter on how to interpret and read yogic scriptures and texts. So as beginners, we can find yogic scriptures and texts quite dense and not easy to understand. And in this book, I provide you with ways that you can learn to decipher these texts. These are also 2 of the foundational and key texts that I recommend in my book. And in this book, you'll also find a breakdown of those texts and their meaning, and also how they should be interpreted to make them more accessible to your practice or your journey. There's also resources in this book, so it literally does what it says on the cover and is a guide for any beginner who wants to learn the true roots and history of yoga in the most authentic way possible. Another aim when I was writing this book is to help you to understand difficult concepts in yoga in a really beginner-friendly and accessible way. And so we included a plate section in the book that refers back to some moments in my life, but also pictures of the key parts that we talk about in the book, like our great gurus of yoga, and pictures from some of our most sacred scriptures too. It was really important for me to also have illustrations in the book so that I could demonstrate to you as a beginner what some of these difficult concepts might look like in an illustration or an image form. At the end of each part or chapter, we have moments of introspection. So I didn't just want this to be a book that you read, but a place where you could start to really actively apply some of the things that we discussed and really reflect on what you've learned throughout each stage. In the beginning of the book, I have a note on Sanskrit, which if you have been following along on my journey for a long time, I'm really passionate about spreading awareness on the importance of using Sanskrit in yoga. And we even have a mini library of some of the key yogic terms that you'll come across throughout your journey. My guru, Prasad Ragnikar, also explains the importance of using Sanskrit in yoga. There's also a few Sanskrit verses from the Bhagavad Gita and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali that you'll find dotted throughout the book. If you do listen to the audio version of the book, on the physical practices or the parts that you might be able to practice in real time, you'll find a symbol next to the practice telling you that you can also listen to that practice, and it will feel a little bit like a real class that I'll be guiding you through with gentle music in the background. So yeah, that's my labour of love and something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm actually really proud of myself for being able to get out there into the world. If you haven't already, I'd highly recommend reading or listening to this book. And it might be a bit biased, but also maybe reading it before you delve into the other texts, just because then the other texts might make more sense to you after you've been through the foundations of an authentic yoga practice. And the final book that I would recommend is one that has taught me so much. It's The Heart of Yoga by TKV Deshigachar. And you'll see how much I've highlighted in this book. because it was also a great aid while I was writing my own book. Chapter by chapter in this book explains everything that you'd want to know as a beginner to yoga. Sri TKV Deshikachar takes us through understanding asana, pranayama, bandhas, dhyana, and the true goal of yoga. He also spends the last part of this book translating and giving us his interpretation of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So the author of this book is the son of one of our great gurus, Tirumalai Krishnamacharya. And the book also contains an interview with the author, TKV Deshikachar himself, which also helps us to understand some of the questions that you might have as a beginner, as he teaches us the concepts of yoga throughout the book. The book also contains pictures of Krishnamacharya demonstrating different asanas and pranayama techniques, and it also has illustrations for us to better understand these techniques as well. Not only does it help us to understand yoga from a physical standpoint, it helps us to understand how we can truly live yoga off the mat as well. And one of my favourite sentences in this book is when Deshikachar says, the goal of yoga is to encourage us to be a little better than we were before. And what I interpret from that is that although we fall off of our practice, we can always come back to it, and what matters is our intention and our efforts to dedicating our time to the practice. And as he said, it's always about becoming a little better than before. So not drastic changes, but just small changes that will lead us to the bigger changes that we'll see over time. Another key part of this book is the pronunciation guide. So for those of you who find it hard to understand Sanskrit or learn Sanskrit, there's a really beginner-friendly pronunciation guide. Honestly, one of my favourite books, and I'd highly recommend that you read it too. So those are my 4 books that I'd recommend that you read as a beginner to the practice, or even if you're not a beginner, they're always helpful throughout your journey. The link for my book is in the description. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-day journey. I can't believe that we're already at the end. For more classes and teachings, join me over on Substack, where we'll be continuing classes in longer form. So I'll see you there.